You are listening to The Objective Jerk, and I am said jerk. Alright, how's it hanging? I'm doing it. Anyway, what's up? Yeah, another shooting. I mean, it's like, are we surprised, really, with the way, dim walls and everybody there, and it's just, you knew it was going to happen because they're not trying to solve the problem. They're just trying to escalate it. They're just Democrats and stuff, liberal media, they're just throwing fuel in the fire. They're like, come on, let's put this out. And they throw fuel on it. It's like, come on, man. But you knew it was going to happen. You knew it was. But before I do that, though, let's see. What's going on with me? I was thinking there was something I was going to talk about, but I forgot. That's pretty par for the course. I forget what I'm talking about all the time. Forget the words I need to say. Man, yeah, I really don't. There was something I was thinking like yesterday. Whatever. But man, I'm definitely taking advantage, or not taking advantage, but I have so much time on my platform for my podcast that I pay for. I mean, I can pay more and have but it's like I don't record that much. So to be honest with you, I'm paying a little more than I need to, but the next level down is I end up, cutting myself short a lot. So I'm like, man, I need more, whatever. So this plan that I have is good because, I never go over or anything like that. But I mean, I do go under a lot though. But so I'm definitely, getting my money's worth this month. This is like the most I've posted in a while, which I wasn't planning on. I try not to post too much, you know what I mean? Because I feel like people are going to be like, I don't know. But it seems to be going okay. Like I was planning on releasing my review of Star Trek Wrath of Khan tomorrow. But now if I release this, I'll have to wait like another day or something. Anyway, the problems of being a podcaster. But let's see. So okay, we'll just get into it. So guy was shot and killed by ICE agents in Minneapolis, which again was no surprise, right? It's like every day I wake up expecting something like this, to be honest with you, because everything happens, where I'm at. It's like late afternoon or late evening right now for me. But here it's, like 10 in the morning. So get on and check and see something. So it's like, I'll always wake up to something that happened or something's happening, So, I mean, I guess that kind of works, because like if I wanted to be one of those people like breaking news, I'm probably getting a lot of information while America's sleeping, you know what I mean? But I'm just not that kind of, I'm not trying to do that. But all right, so guy was okay. So basically, what happened? ICE were doing their job. A guy who's a citizen and everything. He had the he was legal carrying his weapon, but he was recording and kind of agitating. Then he started getting in the way, and then when he wouldn't comply, they initiated the arrest. And maybe then he said, "I have a gun." Maybe they saw it. I don't know. The problem is, it's hard to tell exactly what happened at this point or in this video because it's just one video. It's not the best, and the audio's horrible. Can't really hear anything that's being said by them. So once investigations are done, and then they'll release like the body cam videos, it'll answer some more questions, hopefully. I'll just say, based off of what is known now, the cops are fine, but it is kind of a mistake, but it's a justifiable mistake on their part. You know what I mean? No cops are going to go to, no ICE agents will go to jail. I don't think they'd lose their job. You know, they might be reprimanded in some way, and do some remedial training maybe once all this crap is done. I don't know, but I'll explain why I think that. But but yeah, it's at this point, it is hard to tell exactly what happened. But what the video shows is that when they start initiating the arrest, officers are he's again fighting. He's not complying, which makes things worse. And then so they're fighting with him, not fighting, but they're trying to get in control of him. And then you see what appears to be an officer grab the individual's gun, and then like within a second after that, he gets shot. So, everybody's probably, I haven't checked to see what, the loony left is saying, but I'm assuming they're going to be like, oh, look at them beating up. First of all, when law enforcement, when there's a bunch of them, they're not beating up on anybody, okay? They're trying to get control of the individual. And the more people you have to get control, like one person grabs an arm, another person grabs an arm, then the person, it's less likely the chance that individual is going to get hurt. If it's one-on-one, then the cop is going to go full force, not care, twist arms, dislocate shoulders to get compliance, to get control when they're fighting back like that. When you have more people, less likely someone's going to get hurt. So, like, when people are always thinking, oh, there's so many of them. Shut up. Shut up. But where was I at? Yeah, so that's it. So then, and then they shot him, So you can see, again, so this is all, well, so you can see, like, after the fact, the slow motion, the video and stuff like that. Some people are thinking like it was another officer's gun that the officer got, or maybe it was like his that he dropped or something like that. And yeah, that could be. There's so many scenarios that could have happened based off what we know right now. That's why I'm not getting on and being like, oh, you guys are stupid, it was justified. Because even though it does look that way to me, it's not simple. It's not, clear and simple at this point. The other one with what's her face, the stupid liberal good, immediately it was like, yeah, okay, she was stupid, he was fun, I could see it, and I'm looking, that's the thing, is I'm looking for the officers to make them. That's what I'm looking for. My kids will bring me stuff all the time, and I'll look at it and I'll be like, ooh, yeah, he kind of screwed up, or you know what I mean. So it's like I'm not afraid to call out law enforcement for messing up. You know what I mean? I'll be honest about it. But this one's a little harder because again, we don't have anything. So until they get done with the investigation and we get the body cams and all that kind of stuff, it's hard to tell. But that kind of looks like maybe. So you can see after the officer is leaving the weapon, you can see a split second where it looks like he's reaching the individual. Even then, it's kind of hard, but it's okay. That's what it looks like. So maybe he was reaching for a secondary weapon. Maybe he was reaching for a knife. He got the knife out, and you're in close like that with somebody with a knife, you take them out with a gun. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they have a knife and you have a gun. Oh, you only had a knife. No, it doesn't matter. So we don't know. Now, even if he wasn't going for another weapon. If he wasn't going for a secondary, or he wasn't going for a knife or whatever, and maybe the officer removed his pistol, and the subject didn't realize it, and he was reaching back there trying to get it. At this point, everybody knew he had a weapon. They like, oh, he's got a gun. You do hear that. So all the officers know he's got a weapon. That's why they start drawing their pistols. Some of them, they should be ready. The only thing is, like, more should have got on him, I guess, because there was enough guys there to just blam, just each one to grab an arm, hold him down. There was enough, but the thing is like, if you get everybody involved in that, then you open yourself up to people outside. You know what I mean? So you still have to have people kind of maintaining security. So it's a tough situation, man. But so what was move the gun? What was I saying? Oh, and then he started grabbing for something, and he's grabbing his back, grabbing the gun that he thinks he has. Maybe the guy that pulled it didn't communicate that he had it. Some officer didn't realize that he had removed the gun, and he's reaching back there, and he felt like something was going to happen. He had to shoot him. The thing is, the cop would not be in the wrong based on everything going on. He wouldn't be. You know what I mean? Generally, you want to be able to actually have visual on the gun, but the thing is, moving around, he might have saw it in his holster, and then by the time he went to grab it, and then he was moving his hand out, and the guy's like, "Oh shit, there we go." You know what I mean? It's so many things could have happened in this situation so fast. So that's why I'm not like, "Oh, the cop messed up." No, he didn't. I mean, could he have done better? Maybe. But the thing is, if this dipshit didn't go and interfere with, what they're doing, and then if you're gonna bring a gun, you definitely should not interfere, dude. That's just, I don't know. That's just stupidity right there. Most people who are legal carriers of gun, that have the weapon, they stay out of trouble. They're not looking for trouble. The weapon is there just in case something happens and they can defend themselves. They're not going around trying to be like, "What's up, sucker? Huh? What? I got my..." You know what I mean? No. So the fact that he was protesting and, doing what he was doing, he was wrong. Now, I mean, he could have been just in the back. Maybe he believes all the bullshit the liberal media and the politicians are saying. And so he's there. He wants to protect his people, his neighborhood. But he should have been just standing in the back. And, but even then, it's like, so what are you going to do? You're going to shoot at law enforcement officers because you think you're not. It's bad all the way around. But, I mean, maybe he always carried, Looks like it's pretty much a shithole there. So, but knowing that you have the weapon, you just stay away from trouble. You don't get yourself into trouble. That was like one of the things that I learned and I did when I carried, is I didn't go looking for trouble. Just because I have a gun doesn't mean I can do whatever I want and be, no, I didn't, if I went to like a dinner with a bunch of friends, I didn't tell them, "Oh, hey, I got my gun, I'm cool." No, it was there, but it was like, it was there, but it wasn't there. You know what I mean? So, but he shouldn't have gotten himself in that situation. My computer's like screensaver and it won't turn. I hate this. Apple computers suck. So that's kind of that's kind of the thing, and it's like, and it doesn't. And people are like, "Oh, well, if he didn't, if he didn't see a gun though, so he shot at him, not seeing an actual gun." But the thing is, they knew he had a gun, and he was making the movements, and in all that situation, you don't know. Like, let me give you an example. I think I might have told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again anyway. I've had police draw a gun on me. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you the story. And I'm still alive. Go figure. So I'm gonna try and get through it quick because I think I have told the story. So one night, I was like on swing shift or something, so I had to stay up late. I was working on homework before a couple hours before. My wife was getting the kids ready to go to bed. 3 boys running around, this and that. So she's yelling at them, "Come on, hurry up, get whatever, this and that." The windows are open, so the neighbor's hearing it, and I guess thinks that she's beating them before she sticks them in the cage and hose them down or something. I don't know. So somebody called the sheriff, but it was a couple hours later. So by the time they get there, it's everything's quiet, it's dark. I'm working on my homework, and so this is like 10, 11, something like that, I want to say. And I didn't know it was the sheriff's department, but all of a sudden I just hear doom, 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 doom on the door. I didn't hear sheriff's department or nothing like that. I think maybe they were just like listening. Maybe they were doom, 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 and they were listening to see what they heard. I don't know. So I was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Just some loud. So I immediately go and get my gun. I grab it and I rack it. And I look through the peephole or the window, I can't remember, and I see a sheriff's car. And I was like, oh crap, okay. And so I yell back to my wife. I'm like, hey, it's the sheriff's department. I put my gun down. But the windows are open. Like most of the windows are open because it's Washington and we didn't have air conditioner and stuff. So the cops all heard it and they responded accordingly. So I opened the door and they're each on the side of the house with their guns. And they're like, where's the gun? Where's the gun? So at that moment, I didn't have my gun. But if I would have came charging at them, they would have shot me and it would have been justified. Or if I would have sit there and did something like kind of crazy, they would have shot me. Immediately, I was like, whoosh, hands up, didn't move, gun's over here. They walked me forward. I sat down. When you comply and you use common sense, you get out of it alive. So all these people are just retarded. You're all stupid. Oh, it's because you're white. Whatever, dude. It doesn't. Dude, I was watching a documentary around something. And it's like you just see, and in my school, black, white, we all fucking got along. It didn't matter. All this racism has been created. Yes, racism exists, and yes, it was pretty bad back in the day. Okay, but by the time the late '90s and early 2000s came around, no one really, nobody cared about racism. Nobody cared about gay people really. It was like whatever. Okay, I don't agree with it, but whatever. And then it just, now look where we're at. We're right back into like the 60s and shit. It's like, it's just insane. Anyway, okay, getting off topic again. My phone closed too. I had a couple bullet points just to keep me on track, which never seems to work. All right, so yeah, so I mean, even based off of just that, just they know he's got a gun. And if he's reaching back there and then he kind of comes out like this, he's going to get shot. And I'm kind of guessing that's what happened. Maybe he had a secondary pistol. I doubt it. Maybe, but you never know. What I'm kind of thinking is a knife, maybe. Maybe it was his wallet. He's trying to show his concealed permit. I don't know. But the thing is, they know he's got it. He's fighting with them. And, if you would just... He brought it on himself again, just like the stupid good bitch. That's why it's, it. Even if it is his wallet, it's still justified based on all the information the officers have and the actions of the individual. They don't know what his intentions are, but I mean, he's made it pretty clear, kind of what his intentions are. He's here to cause disruption with the ICE, and he's got a gun. It's that's why you don't interfere, man. Stay on the side, record, blow your stupid whistle, whatever. Call them names. But stay out of the way. So, I mean, some people are saying like, oh, maybe he, well, even if the cop didn't, so those are like some possible mistakes by ICE. Is the officer that removed the gun didn't make it clear, but I mean, it was like less than a second, dude. He had the gun, he came out, bam. You know what I mean? Yeah, maybe. But we don't know. You couldn't hear, so I'm pretty sure he's like, I got it. Stepped away, and then bam, somebody saw him reaching. Who knows? I kind of talked about everything already. So yeah, it's just, again, they could have just, swarmed him. Each guy grabbing an arm, grabbing a leg, holding him down, and then somebody grabs the gun, and they, you know what I mean? It can be done. 5 guys, whatever. But how many people are in the video? But then it's like, then they're exposed because no one's, watching their backs. So it's a tricky situation, And yeah, you just, it's kind of it's sad, really. I mean, because it sucks the guy. Who knows? I don't know. It's like, it's never a happy moment when somebody, dies in that way. Especially something kind of stupid. It's just like somebody taking a selfie on the edge of the Grand Canyon and then they fall and die. It's like, man, it's so stupid. It's the same thing, but it's like no ICE officer it was a justified shoot. The only people who should be liable for this is the Minnesota governor, mayor, Minneapolis mayor, and the liberal media who keep perpetuating, all this crap. I mean, it seems like they've kind of slowed a little bit, but still, it's just, you get these. Well, where the media is not slowing down and where they're messing up is like they'll probably take this and be like, oh, citizen attacked and shot by ICE. It's like, it's not what happened. But, it's just crap like that. It's just annoying. And so now they're calling in, I guess, what's his nuts? Dim Walls. He's calling in the National Guard. But it's like, to do what exactly? They're gonna I mean, because the police there aren't doing shit. I mean, some sheriff departments are kind of helping control the situation, but like the PD, they were told, I mean, I don't know for a fact, but like they're not doing shit. They're not they're, they were told don't interfere, don't whatever. So they're just, they're complicit too, Just like the police officers that wouldn't let people leave in Maui when it was burning. You can't go this way. Yeah, it's a little insane. And people are like, well, but if you notice, dude, ICE is all over the country. They're not just in Minneapolis or whatever. They're all over. They're conducting raids and they're getting rid of, illegals all over. No one's getting shot. None of this is happening. Because it's not, it's the sanctuary city states, and you go to any other, you think that there aren't illegals in red Republican states. You know what I mean? There are, and they're being dealt with. They're being, and people are letting ICE do their job, and they're getting rid of some nasty, nasty people. And that's who the liberals are protecting. Just the most heinous, disgusting people, child trafficking, murders, just like the worst of the worst people. And you look at like the stuff that happened in Colorado with the gang and the apartment, just all this crap, all the raping and murdering that's been going on. But they don't care about that. No, we don't care about American citizens. We care about the illegal foreigners that, but they don't. It's just they're brainwashed. because the politicians want them in there because they're losing votes. They're losing votes like crazy, dude. The Democrats ain't gonna win shit, and they know it. So that's why they're causing all this, you know. And then you got the loony liberals that are just I feel sorry for them sometimes, you know. Like my one liberal friend, dude, he is straight up TDS, man. He just, man. Anyway, that's it. Just wanted to share that, get it off my chest, and let me know what you guys think. You think? I mean, maybe you don't want to say nothing until more evidence is established, and that's probably a smart thing. You know, a lot of people are now kind of waiting. A lot of people are smarter to instead of just jumping to whatever. So, which I am, you know, for this, I'm not saying nothing on like social media. I'm recording this and I'll post it, but I'm not like getting on, you know, like I did with I was on Facebook like, oh, stupid, you know. But anyway, again, thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. Let me know what you think. Appreciate your time. And I'll see you guys next time. All right. God bless. All right, bye.